I'm going to talk about this subject, the subject that all the speakers are talking about in various ways. But first, let's consider the problem we have, the real problem. The problem is, as you see from the pie chart, that America imports 30% of her energy. Now, why do we do that? Why don't we make our own? We have vast hydrocarbon resources, and they're all these hydrocarbons are interchangeable. There's no reason that we should do this. We invented the nuclear age, but we import 30% of our energy. And the reason for this is that over the last 30 or 40 years, we have allowed taxation, regulation, government-sponsored litigation, and other things in our political process to rise to the point where it is not sensible to produce energy in the United States. So we are largely left with the energy production that was created by free men before these things originated. 30 years ago or more, we cut off the development of our nuclear energy industry, and we have hobbled our hydrocarbon industry at every turn. Julian Simon pointed out that free men, on average, as a group, always produce more than they consume. So people become more prosperous, and humanity's condition improves. But there's a caveat. They must be free to produce. And if you take enough of their freedom away, then they don't produce. They don't produce more than they consume. And to a large extent, particularly in the case of energy and some of our other industries too, we're standing on the backs of free men who built these industries before us, and we haven't allowed these industries to progress. In the next slide, I'm going just to illustrate. Now, I don't in any way suggest that I know how our energy problem should be solved. I don't think anyone does. It should be solved by the free market. But here's an example of what could be done. Outside of Phoenix, there's the Palo Verde Nuclear Power Station. It has 3 reactors. It was intended to have 10, but it was built during the nuclear hysteria, and it was stopped at 3. Each of those reactors powers a big turbine generator, one. It would not fit in this room. And that turbine generator generates twice the power of Hoover Dam. So what's left of Palo Verde? What they allowed them to build, the 3 reactors, are the equivalent of 6 Hoover Dams. And it's sited on a few hundred acres outside Phoenix. You barely notice it was there. If it had been completed, it'd have 10 reactors and would produce the power of 20 Hoover Dams. And if there were one nuclear power plant of that size in each state in the Union, instead of importing 30% of our energy, we would have an excess of 20% of our energy to export. Now, you can build the same story about what could be done with our hydrocarbon resources. We have coal, oil, natural gas, methane clathrates if necessary. All of these things can be interconverted into one another, and we could be totally independent with hydrocarbon energy. But if our people were free and our industries were free of taxation and regulation and litigation, private enterprise would build these things automatically. The government wouldn't have to spend a cent. It'd be better if they didn't. And we would have the energy we need and plenty for export. Instead, we have people who are telling us that we should dismantle the institution, the power generating capacity we have. They're lying to our people by saying this can be replaced by windmills, and it's just nonsense, and I'm sure many speakers here have pointed this out. But they're saying we should dismantle our energy system in favor of a system in which taxation of energy, and particularly rationing of energy, becomes the rule. They have many spokesmen, but one of them has done us a favor of reducing things to very simple terms, and his descriptions are about the same as the fancy terms that are used by the fanciest scientists to work on this. So let's listen to him for a minute. Sorry. Al Gore. These are clips from his movie. In the first
Here's
clip,
what I think is a better explanation.
his favorite explanation of global warming.
Global warming, or none like it hot. You're probably wondering why your ice cream went away. Well, Susie, the culprit isn't foreigners, it's global warming.
Global wobble?
Yeah.
Her ice cream is melting faster because of the 0.5 degree centigrade per century rise in temperature. The comparisons are made. You have a paper that we gave you as a handout that has these things. The explanation continues.
He comes all the way from the sun to visit Earth.
Hello, Earth. Just popping in to brighten your day. La 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 la. And now I'll be on my way.
Not so fast, Sunbeam. We're greenhouse gases. You ain't going nowhere.
Oh! Ah! Oh! Ah! Oh! Oh, God, it hurts!
Pretty soon, Earth is chock full of sunbeams. They're rotting corpses heating our atmosphere.
He doesn't mention to Susie that the little demons, mostly they're water molecules, a few carbon dioxide molecules, and if you add oxygen, they're the three substances that must be in the atmosphere for the existence of life. That's not mentioned to children. This is not a cartoon or a joke. This has been shown to tens of millions of American children, grade school children. In this one, Al presents the CO2 rise levels.
It just keeps going up. It is relentless.
He doesn't like to label his axes, and in this case you can see why. The CO2 levels kind of go up from zero depending on what man did, but of course you know that it's a much 30% rise, and those are the real axes. This one,
Here is what's been happening year by year to the Columbia Glacier. It just retreats every single year.
Al only shows us the data from 1980 on. If he showed us the data for the last 200 years, the viewers of his movie could see the